spiritual understanding of the journey you've been on and the journey that you're moving into. 2020 creates a cycle that moves all the way through 2023 of the re-emergence of masculine energies on planet Earth. Much of what the Divine Masculine has been on is a version of the hero's journey called the Creator's Journey. And this is a return to light and love, the original hero's journey, documented by Joseph Campbell. Details how a boy becomes a man, one who has lived for self comes to serve all. It's a journey of enlightenment and redemption. The Creator's Journey, again, a version of that, is a journey of becoming the darkness so that it can be transmuted to the light. It's a journey of using your own body and your own life as a laboratory for the alchemical process of changing one energy into another. It's a journey of becoming, of conducting, and of loss of light only to become the light. So at this point, my guides instructed me to share with you the hero's journey and the creator's journey. So I mapped this out. You should see on your screen now. Let me just reshare. Okay, yeah, you should see it. A visual of the hero's journey documented and created by Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell was, I guess, a professor and really talked about the mythology that all great myths across all cultures have in common. There are some singular elements that are the same among all peoples across the planet, across all time, that documents the journey of a hero who saves the world and brings light back to the world. So a quick overview for those who this information is new to. The journey begins with a call to adventure. And hearing the call is the recognition that there's something calling me. I can't stay in my current circumstance. I need to go out and seek that which is within in the outer world. Very quickly on the journey, the hero is met with supernatural aid. It finds someone who bestows upon him the message, there is something unique and different about you. You are called to save the world, and here is your first gift to help you do that. In actual life, and we'll get into this more when we talk about the creator's journey, this is a moment in time when the divine masculine comes into contact with perhaps a mentor or a teacher or a parent or a boss who shows them ways in which they are different and points out special tools they already have within them. Notice that the hero's journey, this epic, is separated into two sections: the known world and what is familiar to them, and the unknown world, that world in which they could risk losing everything, including themselves. Crossing into the unknown world, there is a threshold whereby the hero might either need to pass a test or prove worthiness in some way, and recognize here that this is a point of no return, that if they take this leap into the unknown world, the life that they had may not be accessible again, and life as they know it will not likely exist again. The hero, being the hero, jumps through the hoop. And this begins the transformation on a road on which they are met with trials and failure, challenges and temptation, allies and enemies. They meet mentors and helpers throughout the process, but other times they are also met with fierce challenges from people and energies that would challenge the hero to turn back, to believe he is somehow not worthy or not capable, until the hero reaches this final point in the journey, the grand trial, the ordeal, and the death and the rebirth, often known as the abyss. This is a moment of revelation for the hero in the hero's journey, where the hero comes to understand, there is legitimately something different going on here. And not only is there something different going on, but I am actually capable of meeting the challenge of this difference. I'm capable of transforming who I am so that I can change the world after changing myself. This begins the process of alchemy and transformation. It is a metamorphosis moment in time where they leave certain things behind. And then this moves into the cycle of atonement and redemption, typically known in the standard hero's journey as the moment where they make reparations for anything that has been lost, any wrongs done, any ways in which the journey has caused them great sacrifice. Atonement is the stage just before the return. At the return, there is a re-emergence where typically in traditional storylines, there will be some sort of gift given to the hero, an elixir of life, something that allows them to both traverse the known and the unknown world with strength and power. This is a moment in time where, at this moment of re-emergence, the hero recognizes that they are master of both worlds. And this is the moment where they come back with their gift to share it again with their people before they are called to return. This sort of image can be found just about anywhere on the internet. This image was taken from the internet. If you want to dive more deeply into it, just Google The Hero's Journey, Joseph Campbell. For those of you that aren't familiar, the original storyline and scripts for Star Wars were actually based on reading Joseph Campbell's work. I haven't found this validated, but from people who knew George Lucas, I have learned that it was actually his wife, I believe, that introduced him to the hero's journey. As a result of her reading his original scripts and his original drafts and recognizing they weren't that good, seeing his frustration with those original drafts. She was in a class at the time, had learned about the hero's journey. She passed this on to George Lucas, and the Star Wars franchise was born. So this morning, when my guides woke me up to talk about this stuff at 5 a.m., it was all the fun. They said, we want you to understand that the Divine Masculine's journey is beginning in 2020, that stretches through 2023, is a version of this. We want you to understand and relate as the Creator's journey. So let me go ahead and map that out here. The beginning part of the journey is much the same as what you just saw. But in this journey, the primary distinction for Divine Masculines as embodied creator is the recognition that in the first stage of the journey, there's a bit of unconscious separation. They may not even realize that they are living in a state of separation from self and thereby being separated from others. There may have been those who have pointed out at this moment in time, oh, you're really different than other guys, but they don't believe it. They don't believe that there is anything different about them. They may recognize once in a while that people respond to them differently, but they don't really fully understand the depth of it. As they cross the threshold, they move into a period of conscious separation. This is the recognition that I'm different and something here is not right about my life. Some things about myself aren't quite right. Yes, I'm different, but I don't think it's in the good way. Over the course of the trials, failures, challenges, temptations, and meeting of allies and enemies in this section of their lives, there's actually a very deep inner rejection of self and an outer rejection of truth. The word my guides gave me for this moment in time in a divine masculine's life is it's the anti-wisdom. When I looked at wisdom, the etymology and the root of the word, it's an ability to see and to know. And at this stage, there's an unwillingness to see and an unwillingness to know. This is a period of time that lacks quite a bit of self-control. And so you may see yourself, divine masculines, moving through this period of time and constantly wondering, why did I do that? Why did I say that? What is wrong with me that I would have created that? And so this period of time can be filled with quite a bit of regret or frustration, sometimes lashing out, but other times, back and forth with those who are attempting to get you to turn back on your path. As we saw in the hero's journey, you will find those who will question your worth, question your honor, and invite you to behave in ways that cause you to question that worth, question that honor. The circumstances will also call forward that questioning until you reach a point, and the hero's journey, which we saw as the abyss, the grand trial, the ordeal, the death and the rebirth. This is the recognition of powerlessness, the coming to terms with the fact that there isn't a control you have of some of these parts of lower self in the ways that you thought you might. And in so recognizing the powerlessness that we have over that, you find true power. You come into knowledge of the third way. The first way being denial, the second way being embracing, and then the third way being something in between, a new way forward, an opportunity where if you are caught between a rock and a hard place, there is actually evolution. There is actually forward movement. This is the place, divine masculines, where you may come to through an experience that has you recognize in yourself that there is something in you that you didn't know that you had. And you may recognize within yourself, oh, I didn't know I had that, or that I am that. Interesting. I got it. And there is an epiphany here. The lights go on. There's like oh yeah, I get it now, because my dad wasn't like that. Oh yeah, I get it now. The men in my family are not like this. I didn't come from men like this. Now there's the lights are on in someone's home in the divine masculine soul. There's a recognition that you are indeed different. Then we move into the union with self cycle. And this stage of the work is marked by a significant retreat from the people, circumstances, and world so that you can come into full connection with that thing that you just recognized is different. There is a certainty about you and in you that no matter what the cost, you will not lose yourself again. You will not be compromised in the way you have been compromised again. You will not be victim to other people's separation of you from your light, and you will not be party to circumstances that cause you separation from your own light within. This stage is marked by leaving some of your old self and your old ways behind. This is also about finding faith again, faith within yourself, faith within a higher power. This is the restoration of the belief that there might actually be something good about you and good about the world and good about life. This is the acceptance of yourself as different from other men. By recognizing that you are indeed different and that you are powerless to be just like everyone else, you find true power in the acceptance of self. This particular stage, that cycle that began atonement in the hero's journey, this is the moment where you come into true wholeness, where you accept the things that have been lost and the things that have been found. This is a moment of reconstructing your inner architecture to be able to fully project and conduct the light better in your life. This is changing your thought patterns, changing your behavioral patterns, changes your responses, changing of your emotional responses to triggers. And this is a changing of life to reflect your own oneness with self and ending separation patterns and behaviors. This may be a moment of time where you take certain classes or read certain books, where you come in contact with certain teachers or mentors via men's groups or support systems that help you get a handle on both the wild self and the civilized self and merge them to be a singular self. And then, after full union with self, the stage of retreat, you come into union with the world. And this is a return. Just as the hero's journey includes a return to the tribe, a return to the community, this is the divine masculine's return with the light codes, the job change, perhaps a move, etc., that recreates the world he's living in as a reflection of the divinity he was gifted with and now recognizes. This is him changing his circumstantial life to be a reflection of divine love, of unconditional love, in the way in which he was made in the first place, but was living in unconscious separation from at the start of the journey. So, a couple of things about this. As they mapped this out, my guides had some specifics to talk about within this that I'm going to map out now. And then this video will conclude with their recommendations for this period of time of union with self and union with the world. They really kind of acknowledge that 2020 will be the beginning of this union stage for many divine masculines, and that this stage stretches, this cycle, this half, union with self through, and then union with the world, this stretches from 2020 to 2023. It is at this time and through these years where you will see yourself, or divine feminines, you will see your divine masculine become the masculine energy that you've always known they were capable of. You'll see them start to embody this more and more. And it's at this time that you will take what was once broken in your life, divine masculines, or what you thought was broken in you, and you will see past those broken places into your own divinity. And you'll begin to express that divinity and respond to it instead of attempting to redeem the broken pieces. In these years, 2020 through 2023, you will find inside of yourself a light and a wholeness that you knew was there, but you struggled to access, and 2020 is the beginning of the years where it gets unlocked. So much of this is marked by the movement of the planet Jupiter into the sign of physical manifestation, Capricorn, where it will be for an entire year. And it's in this sign of physical manifestation after its transit of the sign of freedom and truth, Sagittarius, which was 2019, that you will see that there is a desire and a need and a compulsion to manifest truth in the physical form of your life. You'll find that over time, the more you respond to the light inside of you, instead of a storyline of brokenness that needs to be redeemed, that accessing the light when you need it becomes easier. For many divine masculines, this work will change entire timelines. The more you respond to your own inner light, the more light your DNA embodies. And the changing of the DNA has epigenetic implications for your entire familial line. There is some new research emerging that timelines are actually held in the DNA, that transforming timelines is something that can be done via transforming the DNA. And when we talk about epigenetic changes, you can Google epigenetics. It's specifically talking about changing which genes are expressed and which genes are actually dormant in a system. Which ones are and this also includes which genes get passed on in the genetic line and through posterity. So it's through the process that, through this process, that the divine masculines, families, workplaces, communities, and then the world at large begins to shift out of a vibration of separation and into the vibration of unity consciousness. All of this is done and conducted through the energetic field that lives within the divine masculine's DNA, and in the process he is working to transmute darkness into light. We want divine feminines, this is what my guides go on to say, we want divine feminines to understand that while this work includes her, it isn't about her. As an activator of the access to inner light, through her love, many divine masculines discover that access to their inner light doesn't have to be earned, proven, or striven for. Just like her demonstration of love is unconditional, his access to his light just is. It is what he is choosing to respond to that is the alchemical process that causes the inner change. That will become reflected in his outer world in 2020 through 2023. Just as his work includes her but isn't about her, 3D Union is included on many divine masculines' paths, but it isn't about that. It's not the end state of being that true divine masculine work incarnate is here to do. They're creating new worlds, new patterns for the men of earth to live into. Just as your physical DNA changes, divine masculines, so too does your spiritual DNA that you share with your spiritual family here on earth. In doing this work, you change the path forward for every man that you're connected to by both imparting light to them and showing them through your own life how to focus on it, how to harness it, how to embody it, and how to wield it. Everything in this world grows or perishes with attention. And so at this point, they reminded me of a few different scientific research studies about things that grow and things that die with proper physical attention. Physical attention, and that's why the Capricorn year transit for Jupiter is so critical, is because this is the year or the divine masculine, is meant to be giving physical attention to the full expression of his light. And so they reminded me of, let's see if we can find the study. I pulled this up. I'll be linking this below this video. But there's research done in neonatal intensive care units that something called kangaroo care that this researcher, Dr. Feldman, created in 1996, where you just simply hold babies next to the skin of a beating heart in a human body. Those babies actually fare a lot better than the babies who are not held. So what they actually discovered is that, let's just see if we can make this big so you can see it. Study was ran twice, 1996 and 1998. Okay. They followed babies, examining them at 3, 6, 12, and 24 months. Again, at 5 and 10 years old. The kids in the kangaroo care group were outperforming the other group in a range of ways. They had more organized sleep patterns, steadier respiration and heart rates, better effective attention, the ability to direct their gaze and actions toward a goal. All of those benefits were still in evidence a decade later. And then in terms of the epigenetics piece, there's an article here that I'll also link that talks about the research that shows that people who were exposed to trauma, and I think it was also mice, people did some experiments on mice, that when the mice were exposed to trauma, certain genes turned on and got then passed in the genetic line. Those genes then instructed the children of those mice, and I don't think this is it, but there's another research study that I'll share, the children of those mice to respond to that trauma, even if they weren't raised by the parents, the same parents that experienced the trauma. They were separated from those parents. Those mice still responded in the same way to the stimuli. That being said, we can see from the science here that the work the divine masculine is doing to transform the response to the world's darkness around masculine patterns is actually going to transform the world. He changes it for himself. He changes it for the world. And so I'll link these studies in the description box below so you can find all of this, because my guides kind of pointed to all of this as they were transmitting the message. They were like, it's the physical attention that they're giving to responding to their own light that is going to change the entire line. They move on to say that as they begin to place their attention on their own light, the right decisions come forward, and over time are easier to make. The darkness recedes from your life. Divine masculines, you may have a feeling that the choices you make now are more consequential than ever before, or that you are on some sort of timeline to get it right. And this would be true. The year of re-emergence for masculine energies on the earth is 2023. An entire new cycle begins. And with that cycle, we have the opportunity to create an entire new timeline forward for men on planet Earth. The more that those who would see greater peace and greater love on Earth make their lives a reflection of that, the more our collective timeline moves toward that reality. So they had a few recommendations around how to manage this and how to work with the energies. And there were 6. I'm going to tell them to you, and then I'm going to break them down one by one. Number 1, drink lots and lots of water. Drink more water than you think you need. Number 2, work out, exercise, move your physical body.